You were told math builds on itself. Numbers, then algebra, then geometry. One thing leading to the next. And then calculus showed up. And suddenly, students who were breezing through every math class hit a wall so hard they could feel it in their soul. Not because they weren't smart enough, because every single teacher skipped the most important step, explaining what calculus actually is, before burying you in symbols that look like an alien wrote them during a mental breakdown. By the end of this video, that changes. You'll know exactly what calculus does, why it exists, and how the whole system works. No formulas, no memorization. Just the real idea, finally explained the way it should have been from the start. Here's the one sentence that explains all of calculus. Ready? Calculus is the math of things that change. That's it. That's the whole subject. 2,000 years of mathematical development, and it all comes down to that one sentence. Everything in calculus, every formula, every rule, every symbol that made you question your life choices comes from two questions. How fast is something changing right now? And how much has something changed in total? Those two questions have names. The first is handled by the derivative. The second is handled by the integral. You'll understand both before this video ends. Here's why any of this matters to you personally. Almost everything in the real world changes constantly. Prices, temperatures, speeds, your will to live during exam season. Regular math, the kind you spent years learning, is brilliant at handling things that stay the same. You drive at a steady 60 miles per hour for 2 hours. Basic math hands you 120 miles without breaking a sweat. But what if your speed changed the entire time? You accelerated on the highway, crawled through traffic, stopped at 7 red lights in a row because the universe hates you specifically. Now, basic math shrugs and walks away. Calculus stays. That is the exact problem calculus was invented to solve. But before we get to the two main tools, there's one idea you need to understand first. Without it, none of calculus works. It's called a limit. And it's actually kind of beautiful once you see it. A limit is the value that something approaches as you get infinitely close to a specific point. Here's why that matters. Sometimes you genuinely cannot calculate the exact value at a point, but you can watch what it's heading toward, getting closer and closer without ever quite landing. And that's enough. The limit tells you where you're going, even if you never technically arrive. Here's the best way to picture it. Open Google Maps. Find a curved road. Now zoom in. Keep zooming. The more you zoom, the less curved it looks. Keep going, and eventually that winding road looks completely straight. The road didn't change. You didn't change. But the closer you look, the straighter it appears. A limit works exactly like that. You're asking, what does this approach as I zoom in forever? And here's the key point. A limit is not about where something is. It's about where something is heading. That's a small distinction that carries enormous weight. Keep it in your head. Now, rate of change. This is the idea that makes derivatives make sense. Rate of change is simply how fast something is changing at one specific moment. And here's why knowing the rate is often more useful than knowing the value itself. Your phone says 40% battery. Great. But is that 40% going to last you 2 hours or 20 minutes? The number alone tells you nothing. The rate tells you everything. If the battery is dropping 2% per minute, you have 20 minutes before your phone becomes an expensive paperweight. If it's dropping 0.5% per minute, you've got over an hour. Same battery percentage, completely different situations. The rate is what actually tells you what's happening. That is rate of change. Not a fuzzy concept, not an abstract idea. It is the most practical piece of information you can have about anything that's moving or changing. The derivative is the mathematical tool that calculates exactly that. Not approximately, not on average, exactly, at any moment you choose. Here's the image that makes it click. Imagine you have dash cam footage of a road trip. You pause the video at exactly 3:42 p.m. The car is clearly mid-motion, wheels on the road, obviously moving. What is its exact speed at that single frozen frame? Not its average for the whole trip, not its speed a minute earlier, its speed at that exact instant, frozen in time. A derivative calculates that. It takes a function, a mathematical description of how something changes, and gives you the exact rate of change at any point you want. And here's the part most people never hear. The derivative isn't a single number. It's a new function. It gives you the rate of change at every moment, not just one. Feed it a function describing your car's position over time, and it hands back a whole new function, describing your car's speed at every single instant of the trip. One function in, a completely new function out. That's the derivative. Hey, quick interruption. If this is starting to make calculus feel less like a monster under the bed and more like an actual idea that makes sense, hit subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from, and it only gets better from here. Okay, back to it. Now the other half, accumulation. This is the concept that makes integrals make sense, and honestly, it's more intuitive than people realize. Accumulation is the process of adding up infinitely many tiny pieces to find a total. Because some real-world totals simply cannot be found by multiplying two numbers together, the rate keeps changing the entire time, and you have to build the answer piece by piece. Here's the scenario. You're working out. First 10 minutes, you're walking, burning about 4 calories per minute. Next 20 minutes, jogging, 8 calories per minute. Final 5 minutes, full sprint, 15 calories per minute. You went from a leisurely stroll to running like something is chasing you. The rate changed completely throughout the workout. You cannot multiply one number by 35 minutes and get your answer. You have to add up what you burned during every small chunk of time, moment by moment, from start to finish. That process of building a total from constantly changing pieces is accumulation, and calculus gives you the exact tool to do it. That tool is the integral. It takes a function describing a changing rate and calculates the precise total. Visually, and this is one of those moments where math actually looks kind of satisfying, if you draw a graph of the changing rate over time, the integral is the area underneath that curve. Every tiny sliver of area represents a tiny piece of the accumulating total. Add them all up infinitely, and you have your answer. The integral answers the question, how much in total when the rate was never the same from one moment to the next? Now here's where it gets genuinely interesting. Derivatives and integrals are not two separate tools that happen to both be useful. They are opposites of each other, perfect mathematical inverses. This is called the fundamental theorem of calculus, and it is the moment where the whole subject snaps into focus. Think about addition and subtraction. Add 5, subtract 5, you're back where you started. They undo each other completely. Derivatives and integrals work exactly the same way. Take a function, apply the derivative, get a new function. Take the integral of that new function, land right back where you started. They cancel out like they were always meant to. The car example makes this embarrassingly clear. Start with a function describing your car's position over time. Apply the derivative, you get a new function describing your car's speed at every moment. Now take the integral of that speed function. You get back to position. Position to speed to position again. The derivative and integral just played a perfect game of catch with the same mathematical object and handed it back to you unchanged. This isn't a coincidence or a neat trick. It's the core insight of calculus. The two big questions, how fast is it changing and how much has it accumulated, are not separate problems. They are two sides of the same relationship. One undoes the other. Here's how the whole system fits together. It starts with limits. Without limits, derivatives are impossible. A derivative is calculated by asking, what does the rate of change approach as the time interval shrinks towards 0? That is a limit question. Limits are the ground floor, the foundation everything is built on. From limits, you build derivatives, the tool that works at a single point, a single frozen instant. Parallel to that, you build integrals, the tool that works across a span of time, accumulating a total. And then the fundamental theorem connects both tracks, revealing they were never separate to begin with. One line to hold it all. Limits make it precise, derivatives measure the instantaneous, integrals measure the cumulative, and the fundamental theorem shows they're the same process running in opposite directions. 3 mistakes almost everyone makes when they first hit calculus. Mistake 1, confusing a limit with the actual value at a point. A limit tells you what something is approaching, not necessarily what it equals. Those can be different things. A function can head toward a value without ever reaching it. When you see a limit, ask, where is this heading? Not, what does it equal right here? Mistake 2. Treating dx as basically 0 and ignoring it. You will see dx everywhere in calculus. Many students think it's infinitely small, basically 0. I'll just drop it. This is a trap. dx represents an infinitely small change, not 0. Closer to 0 than any number you can name, yes, but it still participates in every calculation. Ignore it, and the math breaks in ways that will genuinely confuse you. Mistake 3. And this is the one that causes the most damage. Memorizing formulas before understanding the ideas. Students get handed rules, memorize them, pass the test, and then completely freeze when a problem looks even slightly different, because they never understood what the tools were actually doing. When you understand the concept first, the formulas stop feeling like arbitrary symbols someone invented to ruin your weekend. They start feeling like obvious logical consequences of ideas you already understand. Shortcuts, not mysteries. You now understand what calculus is. Not the formulas, those come later, but the reason the formulas exist, the questions they were built to answer, and the logic that ties the whole system together. That understanding is what makes everything that comes next actually learnable. Now, what do you want me to break down next? Drop it in the comments. Whether it's quantum mechanics, thermodynamics, relativity, or something completely different, your comment decides the next video. See you there.